Hey friends, this is Simone. When I shared my planner and journal update for Q1 of 2024, I told you that I was going to share all of my ink and pen related notebooks and journals with you at a later date. This is it. I'm going to share them with you in two different stacks. This is the stack of notebooks that I use very often. And then I have a stack of notebooks that I use occasionally or not at all at the moment. But I want to include them here so that you know that they exist, but that they don't stress me in the least. Actually, none of these journals stress me in the least. I use them as I see fit. So I have 4 notebooks that I use regularly. This one is my Swatch book. This one is my, I don't even know what to call it. It's not an ink journal. It's basically my fountain pen bullet journal. Log, my yearly log. This is my currently inked lists. And this is my pen inventory. Maybe this is a good way to call these. So I am going to show you this first. If you have watched my swatching videos, then you have seen this before. This is a Midori Traveler's Notebook, and I have my old swatch book that is already filled in here, as well as my current swatch book, which is a 52 GSM standard size notebook, 52 GSM Tomoe River paper. I swatch all of the inks as they come in this notebook, and I basically swatch 7 at a time and film along. And most of these inks, if you have been watching my videos, you have already seen on my channel. This is as I have a stack of unswatched inks, and whenever I have time and need some mindful things to do, then I choose to swatch inks. And that is what this journal is about. My log, my yearly log, is housed in this cover. I received this as a birthday present from a friend, and I really like how it looks. And I found that my ink journal fits in here. It's a little bit too thick, so it stands open, but you know, it still works. I really like how this is housed in here. This is a 300-page, I think, yes, 300-page Odyssey notebook. Where is the Odyssey notebook stamp? It says somewhere. Here, odysseynotebooks.com. This is Cosmo Air Light, and Rainbow from Odyssey Notebooks sent this over to me to test it out quite a while ago, and I decided that this year is the year that I'm using it, and I really enjoy the paper so far. I started testing if I liked the paper and the notebook as such with the Diamine Inkvent in 2023. And I'm just going to flip through so you can get an idea of how I use this. So for Inkvent, I inked up a pen every day. I stamped the dates in advance, and then I wrote a tiny snippet every day how I felt about this pen and ink combination, what happened the day, just so that I could see how this ink writes. Then I decided to document my favorite pen and ink combinations of 2023, which are all here. And then I shared one page. I created one page and a video for each month of the year. And then this is the title page of 2024. I'm making a list of purchased inks and pens and sold, given away inks and pens. This is basically my motto for 2024, what I'm starting out with, what my inky goals are, what I think is Project Inkdown going to look like for me, and another project that I would like to work on is pens for my pen case. This hasn't yet come to fruition, but maybe it will one day. And then I am documenting my stuff as I go. So I did Project Inkdown for January, documented the inks that I had pulled, wrote down the pens that were still inked that I considered moving along. And then I put dates here and write thoughts. And then every ink and pen that I have inked gets a page where I write my thoughts on every time that I use it. If I think about something that I would like to write down, I write it here. And then at the bottom, I give scores for ink, flow, and comfort. And then I just write one sentence about what the final thoughts are. This is just continuing. And whenever I fill one of those log pages, I just start a new one. I titled those previously, but I don't do that anymore. At the end of the month, I do a status update on how many pens I have, how many pens went out, how many pens came in, ink bottles, ink samples, and that. Then new pen days are documented. Then I continue with the pen documentation. I only review those pens that I unink. So sometimes, for instance, for February, this pen was moved over to March. So this hasn't been completed, this page. Then every month I add one of those tab stickers that I received from Karina so that I can quickly move to that month. Here is a new pen day, and so I'm documenting. Then I'm pulling the inks for my Project Inkdown. I will link maybe the videos and things that I'm talking about up in the description so you can see more pen and ink documentation. Here is one of the log pages, a test page that I cut out of another notebook to stick in here. My fountain pen and nib wish list, my 8 pen questions, my status update for February, my March tab, my pens. Then Karina, on my Discord, we have been talking about things to consider when selling a pen. Karina shared her basically routine algorithm that she uses to determine if she wants to sell the pen. And I used those questions. I copied them down and used them to start my own algorithm of sorts. And then I wrote down why I'm considering selling these 3 pens. And then I also wrote down, so Karina from Karina Loves to Plan is very methodical about everything. And so it seems. So she has an algorithm for questions to ask when considering selling a pen. Same goes for when acquiring a pen. Again, this is hers. And then while I was writing those down, I thought of the things that I personally consider or need to question when I'm thinking about a pen. And I copied those down to have them here, but also to start forming my own personal thing. Then I have another log here, Swatch new pen and ink, another new pen. Here is a page that I didn't finish because I uninked this. It did not work for me. And then I inked a different pen instead and I logged it right here. So I'm just going to continue writing on this page. This is where I am right now. I really like how this is one of the chronological notebooks. I think almost the only one that I have, to see how things evolve. I document when I send out a pen or sell a pen. I document when I acquire a pen. This is what I started here, but I want to write my first impressions of each new pen right here so that I can refer back to this at a later date. This is what my ink journal looks like. I really like it. I love the Cosmo Air Light paper more than I originally thought I would. And one of the best things about it is that it's so thick that I can use front and back. That is just really lovely, in my opinion. So that is my logbook. Then I have this spiral bound notebook or paper pad from Rhodia. It is 160 pages, 80 GSM Rhodia paper. It is lined, and I use this for my currently inked lists. I started in October, and I'm just, again, this is also chronological because, of course, if I put here my April currently inked, this is a chronological list. Yeah, so I'm documenting those here. As you probably saw, I don't have a list in this notebook, and I'm not sure if I like or don't like it, because technically it doesn't really need to be here. It's not like there's a difference. What matters to me most is how I feel about each pen and ink combination. That's what I'm documenting here. And I like that I get to write on different papers with each pen. So this is Rhodia paper, obviously. So I just made lists at the end of December. In January, I had lots and lots of pens inked. So I just made a list of pens and just get an overview what I want to keep or let go. Here was my best of currently inked list, and these were all the Inkvent inks that I had used. Yeah, I also, this is definitely a really nice documentation of what pens and inks I had inked. Just to show it visually, it's also definitely a tool for me to take photos for social media. But yeah, so that is my currently inked notebook. And then the last one that I use regularly is this B5 Campus binder. And this is my inventory. I have a list of incoming pens for 2024. This is my 2023 list. This is my 2022 list. Because I made them after the fact, these are not as comprehensive as this one. And then these are my current pens the pens that I currently own and use. I have them sorted alphabetically. The title is always the same. So I have the brand, the pen name, like Euphoria, Ambrosia, whatever, the specific style or model, in this case Brown Orchid. Let me grab it and show you as an example. Where are they though? So this is the maker is Benu, the model is Ambrosia, the specific colorway is the Brown Orchid. I got this with a fine nib. This was my 9th pen of 2023. This is when I received it. How I acquired it goes here. And then here is all the measurements that are important to me. The most important one for me is the grip. And I measure it with a caliper right here where I hold it. Then the length And that works usually that I measure the length capped, the length uncapped, and the length posted, if this pen is a pen that is postable. And then I weigh it with the cap, which is the same weight as when it's posted, and then uncapped. And then I document what ink is in here, and if I have interchangeable nibs. So for this one I have a fine and a medium. I will also log what nib is on the pen body at the moment. This was my first try. This one was completely put in. No, this one was completely put in wrong. But this is how I now use it. So I write the ink name, then I do all of those testing lines, then I write la 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 minimum. This is something that I took over from my friend Mar, total copycat here. And then I write when I inked and when I uninked the pen. I had previously used a different kind of penventory, and so I stuck the penventory for the previous pages that I had on the back side. So I have previous documentation still with me, but it's not stuck right here. And this is how I inventory every single pen. I have started to add a dip test with Waterman Serenity Blue at the top. That is only for those pens that I have done this since I decided to do it. So this is what that looks like. And some pens have been inked more, some pens have been inked less. Definitely an indicator of what I need to think about letting go. However, it's a little bit tricky to determine, because maybe I had inked the pen before I switched the system. So it needs to a little further investigation for sure. Like for instance, the Lamy looks like I only inked it twice, but actually I inked it with the same ink on 2 separate occasions. Then this is just recently inked, but there's a whole lot of logging on the back side here. Same with this one. But it definitely shows, for instance, this one, that there are pens that I need to either use or think about letting go. This one is not sticking. Pilot Custom 74 looks very sparse, but then you have the back here. And so, yeah, this is how I am using this. I do have another separate thing for nibs where I just, because these are interchangeable, I might put them in different pens. So I want to see what inks I have in the nib as well. So I'm basically documenting this twice. Once at the sheet for the Esterbrook SD and once at the sheet for the Journal Wood nib. Then I have pens that I consider selling. I don't have anything here at the moment. These are pens that I retired, and I do keep the log sheets for those. And then these are the pens that I have sold. These were, I think, all of 2023. I don't know. Nope. This is 2023, and this is the stack of pens I have sold in 2024 so far. And again, I keep a list of pens that I'm selling and how much I sell them for. That is what my penventory looks like. I really like the size of this. And the Kokuyo paper is really great for fountain pens. So let's quickly touch on these ones. These are all ink journals. This is a notebook that I tried out at the second half of 2023 to see if I was going to use an A6 Hobonichi for my ink, for my logbook for 2024, and I decided against it. And now I'm using this to, for instance, do these pen parades and just showcase a specific pen and ink combination that I like very much. And then I did a video where I wanted to use Tomoe River paper instead of Cosmo Airlight, so I did this in here as well. This is basically just using up paper with Tomoe, using my pens and inks with Tomoe River paper for various different purposes. I'm just using it up until the pages are gone. But this was a test, and it failed, and I'm really glad I did not go with an A6 for my logbook, but with an A5. I really enjoy that more. This one you have seen previously. This is when I was very obsessed with chromatographies last year in 2023, spring of 2023. I logged all of the samples that I had and did chromatographies for them, which is awesome. But I'm currently don't have the bandwidth for that, and so I just don't do it. And whenever I feel like I want to go back to this, I totally can. I have no qualms if it's not complete. It's there for me when I want to continue using it. And if I don't want to use it, then that's fine too. This was a really great project, and it was so much fun to learn when I was doing it. As it is not full and not complete, I don't consider it finished. But whenever I feel like I need or want to go back here, I can. And then I also started this. This is another Hobonichi Techo that I just didn't use at the time, and so I repurposed it as a better overview. This is basically the predecessor of this one. I like having these inks in an overview, but 9 is just not enough, and so I decided to make smaller grids and sample swatch these in here. Again, I would have loved, or the ideal would be that all of the samples that I own currently and all that come in before they go out, they would be logged here. That is just not attainable for me right now, so I'm not stressing about it. When I have the bandwidth to do that, I will. And as long as I don't, it's just here for whenever, you know? It would be cool if I had the time to do all of this, but I just don't at the moment. And these don't go anywhere. They don't take up much space. And they're also not failures. And so this is here for whenever I need it. This is something that I also did last year. I was really good at actually exploring all of the inks that I had inked in my fountain pens every month and do one of those ink exploration pages for them. Again, it fell down the wayside when I had back problems this past fall. So July is the last one that I actually explored. And then August all the way to now, I haven't been able to do this. And again, that is fine with me. I had another ink journal that I finished where I had a similar experience, and whenever I was ready to go back, I did. And I did go back for basically 6 or 7 months in 2023. And then whenever I am feeling like this is something that I can take on again, I can. I did one exploration in December of 2023 with the Inkvent Ink Diamine Nightfall. That was just so interesting to me that I wanted to see the chromatography, wanted to see how the swatch looks in a big thing, how the writing samples look in different nibs. And so I took the time and did it. So there is the possibility for me to use this. And I think what I also need to do, and what I did here, is letting go of another expectation to be able to explore all of the pens and inks for each month, but maybe pick one or two that just stand out. And when I have the time, do this. This is currently not the case. I don't really have the time to do any of this. But, you know, going from not doing it to maybe doing one or two pens and inks every month, instead of having the expectations that all of the 8 or 10 pens that I have inked every month need to be explored in this way, there is a middle ground that I could find if I wanted to. Alrighty, that is all the pens and ink notebooks, journals that I'm using in 2024, or at least at the time of filming in March of 2024. I will keep you posted if something changes. I love that I have a variety of papers to use these, to use my fountain pens and inks with. Yeah, let me know if this is something that you do as well. If you're inspired and you start a journal based on something that you saw here, I would love to see how you set it up. Well, you can, but don't think that you have to copy it exactly one by one. Take what you like and what works for you and make your own. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you soon. Until then, bye.